supplies. The boy looked at the electric scooter under Wang Chung with surprise. Dormitory 8 was in a different direction from Wang Cheng's dormitory area. Wang Chung maintained caution and distance, introducing himself and his dormitory, but not revealing his intentions. Instead, he followed along, saying, "Yes, I also have nothing to eat, and I want to see what happened yesterday in the new dormitory area. You also have the surname Wang. What a coincidence. We just differ by one character. But I heard your area is quite dangerous. I haven't seen many survivors coming from there. Now everyone is gathering near a few teaching buildings. If you have nowhere to go, you can head that way. As for supplies, I just heard the counselor leading the student council is planning to raid the second school supermarket. I'm getting ready to scavenge. Do you want to join?" Wang Qing did not refuse. There were several supermarkets on campus, and Wang Qi mentioned that the second supermarket was not far from the cafeteria. Wang Qi and Wang Chung rode side by side, both keeping a certain distance. Wang Qi was quite talkative, and once he started, he couldn't stop. Wang Chung gathered quite a bit of information from him. It turned out that many survivors had been active at Haicheng University in recent days. Many had formed survivor groups. Some chose to make a living on campus, while others opted to leave Haicheng University, attempting to seek refuge with the military and police. Due to the disaster breaking out at night, the dormitory buildings were nearly uninhabitable. Most of the survivors on campus gathered in the teaching buildings, but supplies were scarce, and food was in short supply. Everywhere on campus were mutated beings, and everyone was trying to find food to survive. Wang Qi was one such survivor. All his roommates had perished, and he had started wandering around the school 3 days ago in search of something to eat. Fortunately, he had his own electric bike, which helped him escape from the mutated beings that chased him, surviving several life-threatening situations to make it to today. Unlike Wang Chung, Wang Qi did not have the courage to confront the mutated beings directly. He always hid and avoided them. Although there were many mutated beings on campus, he tried to remain quiet and careful. The visually impaired mutated beings found it difficult to detect him, allowing him to slip away unnoticed. "Bro, your shared electric bike is amazing. Why is it so quiet?" At that moment, they encountered a mutated being, and Wang Qi cautiously turned off the bike from a distance and pushed it forward, fearing to alarm it. When he turned his head, he saw Wang Chung riding his bike steadily, making almost no noise, which did not disturb the mutated being at all. As they moved further away, Wang Qi looked on in amazement. I don't know either. I study electronic information, just randomly picked a bike and bypassed its program. It works without the internet." Wang Chung replied. Just then, they finally arrived at the location of the campus supermarket. The storefront was small, but a group of survivors had gathered outside. Students and teachers alike, armed with a hodgepodge of weapons, were fighting against the mutated beings near the supermarket. What surprised Wang Chung the most was that in front of the group of students stood a leading female counselor, who had an alluring figure and beautiful features. She stretched out her hand, igniting a fuse, and with a flick, she pinched the flame, which flared up and transformed into a terrifying fireball that shot out, striking a mutated being ahead and knocking it over in an instant. He heard Wang Qi beside him exclaim with envy, "Awaken one." Chapter 16. You tell me that's a shared electric bike? According to Wang Qi's introduction on the way, at the beginning of the apocalypse, the survivors in the school could still stick together, but within just a few days, due to a lack of manpower and uneven distribution of supplies, they quickly fell apart, forming several large and small survivor teams scattered throughout the school, each fighting for themselves. Some even resorted to violence over supplies. Among them, the largest group was the survivors from the student council. With counselors and teachers helping other students, they had gathered quite a number, reportedly around 100 people. It was precisely because of this manpower that they dared to attack the campus supermarket. The campus supermarket was a heavily affected area. In the first few days after the outbreak, many had set their sights on it, but unfortunately, they overestimated themselves and all perished, attracting a swarm of mutated beings. As a result, there were 13 mutated beings stationed at the entrance of the campus supermarket. Even though one could see plenty of supplies inside from a distance, no one could retrieve them. They were ordinary people, lacking weapons. How could they deal with one mutated being, let alone 13? When Wang Chung arrived, he saw a similar scene. There were quite a few people from the student council survivor team, more than 20, but their weapons were quite ridiculous. Boxing gloves, nunchaku, baseball bats, fruit knives, and blunt tai chi swords were acceptable, but some were even wielding chairs and benches. 13 mutated creatures charged out, and everyone quickly retreated, resulting in one unfortunate student being knocked over and losing his head. It wasn't until that beautiful counselor took action, stunning everyone, that courage returned to the crowd. Wang Chung was also taken aback. Awaken ones? What are awaken ones? Isn't that superpowers? He took a closer look and recognized the beautiful counselor. She was a counselor from the School of Management, reportedly only 25 years old, having become a counselor after directly pursuing a doctoral program at the school. Because of her good looks and charm, many remembered her during the school anniversary, and Wang Chung was no exception. I actually didn't know much. Just heard from others that this apocalypse was caused by the outbreak of some ancient virus. Some people infected became monsters, while others were infected but didn't turn into monsters, instead gaining supernatural abilities. These were the awakened ones. Wang Qi whispered, "You didn't know this? TSK. Chunlan used to be everyone's dream girl, and now she's even more so. So many people want to curry favor with her, but can't." Wang Chung felt a chill at Wang Qi's words. Ancient virus? He couldn't help but recall the strange ripples he sensed on the day of the apocalypse. His gaze fixed on Chunlan. At that moment, Wang Qi continued, "Look over there. Those people are just here to pick up the scraps. Right now, among the survivor forces at Haicheng University, only Chunlan and the student council allow everyone to do that. If it were those ruthless ones like Xia Bai, who would dare to pick up scraps, they'd definitely come over and kill you. In the apocalypse, people aren't even human anymore." Wang Chung glanced over and noticed that while Chunlan was leading an attack on the number 2 campus supermarket, he and Wang Qi were sneaking on the side, along with many pale and thin students who were also hiding at the edge of the battlefield, too scared to confront the mutated creatures, just waiting for Chunlan and the others to conquer the supermarket so they could pick up some leftovers. Why pick up scraps? Why not just join them? There's no such good thing. At first, Chunlan and the others needed people, but now they don't. If they would let me join, I'd even be willing to shine their shoes. I haven't had a full meal in 3 or 4 days, Wang Qi self-deprecatingly said. Useless people. Those who dare not confront the mutated creatures are unwanted wherever they go. Ordinary students like us are now ignored. Listening to this, Wang Chung was momentarily at a loss for words. And just as Wang Qi said, Chunlan and her group were indeed brave. They managed to suppress those 13 mutated creatures with just over 20 of them. However, the commotion they caused was significant, and from a distance, several swaying shadows appeared, seemingly attracted by the noise from mutated creatures in other directions. They paid the price of several lives to eliminate the remaining mutated beings, and then hurriedly prepared to flee with supplies. A few female students rushed over, pleading for some food and requesting to join them. Chunlan glanced at them, showing a moment of reluctance on her face, but ultimately coldly refused. "We have enough people. It's not that we don't want you, but we can't take anyone." The girls wanted to approach further, but were all blocked. Wang Qi remarked, "These people still have delusions. Chunlan and the others have long since stopped wanting survivors. It would have been better to go and plead earlier. Now, they should just wait on the sidelines to pick up the scraps after the looting is done." He appeared to be quite experienced, but behind that was a deep sadness. Just a few days into the apocalypse, and it had already become this way, survival of the fittest, where the weak could only pick up the leftovers from others, and even had to consider others' moods. Those deemed useless would be abandoned and rejected. In these few days, the 3 of them had been hiding in their little corner of room 703, maintaining a state of mutual goodwill, while outside chaos reigned in the apocalyptic world. Wang Chung self-deprecatingly smiled to himself. Wasn't he the same? To survive, whoever acts like a saint must pay the price and naturally be a bit cold-blooded. Wang Chung kept his distance from Wang Qi, observing from the side and waiting to pick up the scraps. Although Wang Chung didn't lack supplies, since he was there, he might as well bring back something. At that moment, another group charged in fiercely, all male students. The leader, with a buzz cut and a round face, seemed to be an awakened one. He raised his hand and unleashed a wave of cold air, freezing the head of a mutated being. Wang Qi whispered, "It's over. There won't be any scraps left now. Xia Bai is here." On the way, Wang Chung had heard him mention this Xia Bai from the survivor faction at Haicheng University. He was a ruthless character, having killed more student survivors than mutated beings, merciless in his actions. Previously, he had assaulted a female student, and Chunlan had nearly clashed with him over it. At this moment, the 13 mutated beings were almost taken down by Chunlan and her group, and Xia Bai clearly saw the opportunity. He chose this moment to emerge, aiming to take advantage of the chaos. The 2 sides quickly faced off aggressively. One male student on Chunlan's side, with bloodshot eyes, shouted, "It's you. You killed my girlfriend." He charged forward, wielding a baseball bat. However, a burly bald man behind Xia Bai stepped forward, swinging a fire axe, splattering blood and knocking the student down mercilessly. Wang Qi trembled in fear. "Brother, we should get out of here. Xia Bai is too ruthless. If he drives Chunlan away and discovers us picking up scraps, we might not be able to leave." Meanwhile, the atmosphere in the arena was tense. Chunlan's expression changed. "Do you dare to touch my people?" Xia Bai merely sneered. "What if I do? You just fought with the mutated beings. Do you really want to fight us now? Get lost, or I'll kill you all. This is the supermarket we fought hard to seize." Chunlan clearly did not intend to back down. Xia Bai then said, "I can share a little with you. If you're willing to let us brothers have some fun, I'm willing to give you 2 boxes of milk." His companions behind him burst into laughter. The main force of survivors on both sides were students, but it was clear that Xia Bai's side consisted of tough characters, each robust and strong. Their overall